All right, now that we've been learning about relations and functions, let's classify them. Is the relation a function? If so, is it one-to-one or not one-to-one? So first, we want to determine if the relation is in fact a function. So here we have a relation, a set of ordered pairs written out as ordered pairs for us, xy, 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 xy. So is this a function? Does each input have exactly one output? So here I can see that 1 maps to 2. Do I have any other 1s mapping to a different number? I don't. Here 5 maps to 6. Do we have any other 5s mapping to a different number? We do not. Here we have our 7, our input of 7. Is that mapping to any other outputs? It is not. And then we have our 8. Is the 8 mapping to any other outputs? And it is not. So this, yes, is a function. Oops. So functions can be one-to-one or not one-to-one. This follow-up question, we only ask if we are in fact looking at a function. So a one-to-one function is when no two elements of the domain map to the same element in the range. So I think it can sound confusing when it gets so wordy like that. So here's what we're looking for. This 1, the element in the domain, is mapping to a 2. Do we have any other domain values also mapping to a 2? So I'm going to see, do I have any other 2s in my output? We do not. Here's a 6. Do we have any other 6s in the output? We don't. And if you look at all of your outputs are different. So this is a one-to-one function. All right, so part B, we have a relation. This is called a mapping diagram. We could write these out as ordered pairs. The numbers on the left, let's go ahead and do just a little bit of labeling. This is our input, the numbers on the left. The numbers on the right, that's our output. If we were to write them as ordered pairs, these would be the x's and these would be the y's. So is the relation a function? Does every input map to an output? What we're looking for is I can't have an input map to a 17 and then also map to an 11. I can't have the 2 map to 2 different things. So if you look, each input is mapping to a single output. So yes, this one is a function. Is it one-to-one? So does one input map to one output? And those outputs are not shared by anything else. Do you notice how 17 is the output for both a 1 and a 2? That shared output means this is not a one-to-one function. So what you could look for are the output values. If you have the same output value paired with different inputs, it's not one-to-one. All right, part C, we have this lovely line drawn. Is this relation a function? And a couple things about that. When you have a visual of a graph like this, you can do something that's called the vertical line test. So I'm going to draw a vertical line, and then I'm going to try to move this around. We'll see how well I can do this. So I'm going to take that vertical line. Okay, so I'm moving this vertical line around. What I'm looking to see, whoa, didn't mean to make it bigger, is, okay, what's happening? If you pass a vertical line across your graph, a function will cross the vertical line in only one spot at any given time. So that's a vertical line test. Does my vertical line, or does the graph, that line, the red line, hit my vertical line more than once at any given time? If it hits it in only one spot, then that means that it is a function. It is passing the vertical line test. So that's a quick visual you can do on any function to see if it passes a vertical line test. That means you do have a function. By the way, any line will be a function. Here's what something would look like for it not to be a function, just to give you another example. So let's say my graph looked like this. Now, if I take that vertical line, if it will let me, see how anytime I pass it over that new red one I drew in, if it crosses it more than once, so here we can see we're crossing here and here, that does not pass the vertical line test. That would not be a function. All right, so because it is a function, is it one-to-one? It is one-to-one. Every line will be a one-to-one function.